she went back to the court and thought she could exonerate herself by saying, I'm no longer pregnant. That's what she said.
I
I'm
hate
no
these
longer
bitches
pregnant.
so much.
I take it back.
And the judge said, well, it's not that easy. You can't just say you're no longer pregnant.
Correct.
You gave us medical records that were falsified.
And we got some good stuff coming up for you this hour. New hour. Insensitivity training for a politically correct world. Woody, Greg Gorey.
Hoy.
Menace. There's Gina Grad.
Hey.
Seabass, Sammy.
Hello.
Yeah. Phones are open at 877-44-WOODY. Send us your text over to 22987. We got a little bit of something, and then we're going to post like a special one of those podcast-only segments.
Exclusive.
Ooh, naughty.
Yeah, so consider what we're going to be doing here on the air for you this morning. Just a little preview. And then the completely uncensored, and you'll understand why we're doing an uncensored version. Because Seabass and Morgan went to the AVN Awards, the Adult Video News. That's the porn awards, the Oscars of pornography.
You can't use the term Oscars.
No, but I say, it's the Cadillac of whatever.
It's
Right.
colloquially, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's the Cadillac of golf carts. Yeah, they always say that for
The
things.
Oscars of porn.
Right, so it's the Oscars of porn. It's the highest award that you can win in the industry. And so they were there, and as Seabass does every year, he talks to the performers about, everybody's got a bad day on the job.
Oh, sure.
So, what was your worst day on the job?
That's your job.
And
doing sex.
Yeah, and they share those stories. Like, for example, did you see the story of the American Airlines employee at the airport in Charlotte?
No.
Got hit and killed on the tarmac.
That's a bad day.
Yeah, just working on the ramp. Got hit by a ramp vehicle.
It's
Oh
probably
my God.
worse than a porn thing.
Yeah, and so the medics were on it quick, but they had already died. So, see, it could always be worse. You think your day at work sucks, like you have something like that, or, yes, you're having sex for a living, but what if something like what happens to one of these fine ladies happened to you?
Yeah, well, there's no ramp vehicles there, thank God.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my
Other
God.
things.
I mean, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna get hit with something large.
They're
That's right.
ramming.
Yeah, you may end up with like a head injury.
Yo, for sure.
Something. He's getting impaled.
Throw your back out.
Yeah, throw your back. Now, I know Morgan did have a bone to pick with Seabass
Oh, what's that?
over this trip.
Yeah, I'm trying to put him in the hot seat, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa. What happened?
Because, and apparently this was Seabass's idea for me to join AVN Expo this year.
Uh-huh.
And in the meeting before we went, I was like, hey, can I get some kind of itinerary? What's the plan? You want to do things together, alone, blah, blah. No answer from Seabass. And then we get there and I'm just like refreshing my email, checking my phone the whole time. Don't hear from him the whole time.
Well, hold on. Let's stop it real quick.
And
let
then-
us
Wait, let her finish.
Well, no, but we've already misstated some things.
Oh, okay.
You guys were in that meeting. I said, yeah, let's meet up at 4:00.
Okay.
Great.
And then did I hear from you at 4:00 of where to meet you? Nope.
No, you could have hit me up, said, hey, where do you want to meet?
Sounds like she tried.
She didn't.
No, I didn't because
Oh,
I know
you didn't?
I know he doesn't want to be bothered by people. And also, if you said, you'd let
Wait,
me
so
know.
why are you mad
Okay,
at him?
well then how could you get an answer to a question?
Thank you, Greg.
Well, he was supposed to
Also-
let me know.
Also,
No.
because weren't you supposed to be like the Yoda of the situation? Like
The ambassador.
You do this all the time. This is really your event. We're bringing her out for the first time. You're supposed to be there to show her the ropes
Yeah,
and stuff
and
like
I've
that.
abandoned
But happy to
her.
do
Which
that.
ropes have a whole different meaning at the AVNs.
And
Show her
that's
the
why I said,
ropes.
yeah, let's meet up at 4:00. And I was
Yeah.
there at the hotel at 4, ready to go. And I guess because she didn't contact me saying that she was ready to go, I assumed, she must have figured things out herself.
But you didn't text her to
Okay.
be like, are we meeting? It's 4.
No, because I figured I don't want to step on her feet.
All
No,
y'all,
no,
all
you
y'all
wanted
were
to
in the
step on
meeting.
anyone's-
Again,
No,
I
Okay.
offered the olive branch. She did not grab it.
Morgan, I will say, hearing this detail, it's on the both of you. Like Seabass
Yeah,
should
I
have
was
reached
gonna
out.
say, it's equal.
Agreed.
You should have
Yeah.
reached out to him.
That's
Like one of
odd.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know, like on a weekend or whatever, he doesn't want to be bothered, but you are there for some kind of function.
Yeah,
Right.
it's for
Okay,
work.
but backtrack. You're saying that you were in the meeting. You said, "Oh, we'll meet at 4." When did you say that?
In front of
Did everyone
everybody.
else hear that
I
too?
don't recall hearing a 4:00 time.
Yeah,
But
I remember him saying, "Oh, I'll email you."
but this is on
Okay.
both of
I'm like,
you.
what?
Yeah.
Like
This-
why
this-
are both
this
of
is
you
a
so
communication
related
breakdown.
I mean,
to
I don't-
text each other?
I don't
Yeah.
care that
Well,
much.
here's the thing: is that I don't need her. Like I was there. Oh, if she needs me, I'll be there at 4, ready to go. So I assume she doesn't, because it's not a mystery. You're not, going through the dark caves of Nim or whatever. It's like they have a place where you go register and pick up your badge, and then you go inside the expo and you talk to people. Like it's
Okay.
not the hardest thing
I
in
think
the
that's
world.
dumb
Yeah,
on both
that's what
ends
I
that you
did.
guys didn't contact each
Well, I mean,
other.
it didn't
Yeah.
matter to me.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's fault on both sides.
No fault here.
But it didn't. It didn't like Woody said. It didn't occur to you as somebody who's done this a million times to make sure that Morgan had what she needed and she knew what to do.
I figured if she didn't, because this is not a hard thing to do. This is they have a well set
right.
up
But if
machine.
you've never done it before, it didn't occur to you to say, "Do you have any questions? Do you know where to go? Do you know what you're doing?" To mentor the situation.
He doesn't have that kind of capability.
Yeah, that's
But he's the one who
point I'm making.
suggested her going with him to begin with.
And I figured if she had, again, they've got a process for this. You'd have to not know how to read and write to not follow it. And I figured if she had,
this is very telling.
But But if she had asked me, if she said, "Oh, hey, I can't get," if she had a problem, let's say, "Oh, they don't have my name on file," or
Right.
"Can you help me with so and so?"
Okay.
Then if she had reached, of course I would have helped her. But I figured,
Let's just chalk it up to fault on both sides, lack of communication.
Don't be reluctant to text each other. Big deal.
Exactly. Seabass, no hot seat.
All right. Anyway, so
Oh my God.
we'll have a little bit of the worst day on the job audio, the censored part, then we'll have the uncensored continuation and a couple of the other ones that you won't hear on the air, like over the air
I'm very excited
today. That'll just be exclusively on the podcast, and you'll be able to hear that. And then later on in the week, Morgan was doing a round of Bush or Bear.
Oh.
So that's where she asked the different questions, and the last question is,
Great
what
place
about
to
their
ask.
hairstyle down below?
And for folks who don't know, like, wouldn't it be obvious? Couldn't you just look?
No.
Clothing is they do dress code checks because it's still it's a casino. It's Las Vegas.
So
Who cares?
corporate.
Yeah, but also they're not all like hardwood floors, like because there are like a whole thing like Scary and Harry Volume 4. Like we hear them.
A girl I know who's in the industry and hooked up with me said, "Some of my guys just like it when I have hair down there."
Yeah.
Some of my guys. Are you interested in them?
All right, so we'll get to that here coming up a little bit in the hour. Now, Greg was kind of sharing little bits and pieces. We don't have the full story yet.
Yeah, it's a
Speaking of whores, by the way,
complicated story about let's call her a whore. I was gonna leave names out, but it is totally public record. It's not a brand new thing, but I have a friend. I'll only use first names. His
Okay.
name is Ron. He used to be the #1 talk show host in the city I grew up in, San Francisco. Big deal. I found out he moved recently, so I texted him and said, "Hey, I didn't know you moved." Days go by, haven't heard back from him yet. So I told another friend, a mutual friend of Ron, said, "Hey, I've texted Ron, haven't heard back from him." And the response was, "Oh, he's probably busy disowning his daughter."
What?
And I said,
Oh.
"Huh? What does that mean?" "Oh, you haven't heard about his daughter and what is going on? She's in the news and is in the court system." So it turns out the daughter, again, first names only, Laura, met this guy from the TV show The Bachelor, Clayton Eckhard, I believe his name is.
I don't
I've
know.
Never
I've
seen
never
The
watched
Bachelor.
it.
I've never watched it
I'm
either,
gonna look
but
him up.
apparently he is. So it's Echard. They met and apparently either went on a date or dated for a little while. Yeah, that's the guy,
Okay.
Gina. Then she claims, "Hey, Clayton, I'm pregnant with twins and I want money from you."
Oh.
And he said, "I don't think that's possible. We only did mouth parties."
Do you know how babies are made?
You know how that works,
Right.
Yeah.
So she takes him to court, and the court requires her to furnish proof of being pregnant. So she gives over medical documents.
Okay.
Says, "Yep, I'm pregnant." And she's saying, "I want money. I want money."
And she
I
is
want
pregnant.
money. I want money. That's the rub. She's not pregnant. She falsified medical records,
This bitch.
God.
lied about the whole thing. That was months and months and months of back and forth in what Clayton claims is harassment, right? And saying that this was just a big fraud case.
It's totally harassment.
Yeah.
She falsified records. She not plagiarized. What is it called when you lie in the stand? Perjury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Committed perjury. So now she's facing legal problems because of that.
Good.
Because those are crimes. And it turns out Clayton's not the first guy she's done this to.
What?
Did she do it to another guy? No. She did it apparently to another 3 guys.
Oh my God.
To the point, you're a whore. To the point where they made this community called Victims of Her Name.
Wow.
And now she's facing charges in this new city that she lives in.
Wait, so why are you
Well, they should.
why are you disguising names if it's a public case?
Well, I just didn't want to say Laura Owens.
Jeez.
Isn't
He's
that
being polite.
Yeah, I just went to victimsoflauraowens.com.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
See, this is the kind of stuff that Gina loves to read about.
This is the best.
Yeah.
It's so layered and complicated, but
Someone's got plans.
But apparently, like
Put the coffee on.
She went back to the court and thought she could exonerate herself by saying, I'm no longer pregnant. That's what she said.
I
I'm
hate
no
these
longer
bitches
pregnant.
so much.
take it back.
And the judge said, well, it's not that easy. You
Nope.
can't just say you're no longer pregnant.
Correct.
You gave us medical records that were falsified, allegedly.
In a court.
In a court.
Doesn't sound very alleged.
And then when this story came out, I guess it's because he was on The Bachelor that it became more high profile.
Of course.
Other guys came forward and said, hey, I wasn't on The Bachelor, but guess what? Happened to me too.
How is she not on a list somewhere?
And now she somehow, and I haven't read her story, but apparently she has this blog where she is claiming that she's the victim. And
Of course.
She's, you know.
Well, so, a lot of these things, Greg, if they do it once, they women kind of get just kind of like let go.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. I mean, listen, it happened to, and Trevor Bauer's not a good guy, but this happened to him.
Yeah.
Where he was straight up blackmailed.
Yeah, the pitcher for the Dodgers.
And she just got kind of let go.
Yeah, and I don't know this to be true or not, but maybe she did this to other people and
She needs a good spanking.
and was
is what she needs.
successful.
Yeah.
You're a whore.
That's right.
I think there's a lot of guys that have gone through this. Not just from her.
So I'm
this
assuming that
happened
she might have been successful.
I
in this
never had a chick
before.
fake pregnancy. I did have the one girlfriend who lied about having cancer.
Cancer.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I did have that.
horrible. I just looked at the one little paragraph, like 3 sentences about her. It says Laura Owens self-recorded a TEDx talk entitled "The Life-Saving Power of Kindness to Strangers."
Wait, you can do that by yourself?
Apparently, it says in her talk, Laura Owens shared her personal story of escaping an abusive relationship, highlighting how a simple act of kindness from a stranger on a plane changed her life. However, many of the details of the story have been debunked by court records.
Hey, sluts.
So she can't stop lying.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, it's just
Allegedly.
it was
Wow,
it was
no
a crazy
kidding.
story.
This happened to Eddie Van Halen when he was right before he married Valerie Bertinelli. Remember, guys?
No,
a
we're
pregnancy
not
thing?
60.
Where she claimed he had like a.
Oh, that's a reference everybody remembers. I made a reference about the Big Bang Theory.
Right. Oh, yeah.
How
the
dare
elevator.
you?
A show that a ton of
Idiot.
people
So-
there's that reference.
One day at a
Because-
time.
Yeah,
Valerie
one-
Bertinelli.
And it's exact same thing where he goes to his manager and he's like, this woman says she's pregnant, and Eddie was very stupid at the time, maybe still is, who knows, and he's like,
Well, he's
we
dead.
only had mouth parties, but
Yeah.
Eddie was so dumb, he's like, could that have happened?
Oh my God! Then
It's
he
a
might
medical
he
miracle.
deserves it. He deserves it.
So but whores keep trying the same tactics.
Whores
over and
keep
over.
whoring.
When someone
Yeah.
files a lawsuit, though, can you not see previous lawsuits that they filed? Like,
I think
un-
it depends.
under
That's
that
prejudicial.
But maybe it's happened without the courts in the other cases.
And not all courts
Maybe the
talk
guy
to
just
each
said,
other.
oh, you're pregnant? Okay, here's some money.
Yeah, exactly.
Did they call Schneider as a character witness?
Got it!
Jeez.
Mrs. Romano?
Oh! That's a joke for a person of a certain age, guys.
That's right.
All right, more Woody Shows coming up. We'll get into this audio that Seabass has for us. Worst day on the job for a porn star. What would that be like?
Oh, messy.
Can't
We
get
have
it up.
a censored example, and of course, then we'll have the full uncensored with a lot of other ones too, like a few of them, right?
Oh yeah, well,
For the-
and in greater detail.
Well, the AVNs just happened, the 2025 Adult Video News Awards, the porn Oscars, if you will.
Yes.
Seabass, as always, there to cover the happenings and talking to some of the performers about their worst day on the job. Everybody's got a bad day at work.
Yeah, these are
Theirs are just different.
And you can, the folks that I've mentioned this before, when you go to the porn awards during the day, go to the expo because they're all out there hanging out, glad handing, taking photos.
Yeah, trying to get appointments for later on tonight.
How
It's
dare you?
basically Comic-Con.
It is, but I saw the girl we talked about, Lily Phillips, the girl who was going to sleep with 1,000 men. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Menace, your boyfriend Adam 22 was at the Dunkin' Donuts, just
hell yeah,
at the
dude.
Virgin Hotel, just hanging out.
Nice.
Oh, I thought you were going to say at the Dunkin' Donuts booth. I'm like, they sponsored it.
I was like,
Wow.
isn't that guy from that podcast with the really famous? He's like, oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to do, because we've done this every year where we talk to the different stars about their worst day on the job. They're the porn industry. But we've never done it where we've offered a podcast-only, uncensored edition. And so we're going to have that for you on today's podcast. So you'll be able to go to thewoodyshow.com and hear the whole thing uncensored. We've done this a few different times. Obviously, for FCC reasons, we cannot air that on the actual airwaves.
Thanks, government.
But we can have that on the podcast. You'll be able to find that later on today just by going to either thewoodyshow.com or your podcast platform of choice.
Yeah, just search The Woody Show and hit subscribe if
Here's
you
a
don't
little
subscribe.
tease. I met this lady, Wisconsin Tiff. So she obviously came from Wisconsin, and she's telling me
And her
about.
name's probably Tiffany, I'm guessing.
I bet you it is.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Here she is talking about her specialty.
All right.
I do grandpas, really old men, and gangbangs. Like the other day, a 50 guy gangbang in my.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh, can I?
Wow.
Was it front door or back door?
That would be the rear entrance, the servants' quarters.
50.
Wow.
So we'll get more into this, but if you'd like to,
Grandpas.
not at work or on anything you want anyone else to see, Wisconsin TIF's Twitter feed is heinous.
Oh yeah.
wow.
Hold on.
Perfect.
In a
Take my
way,
safe
I mean,
search
depending on
off.
what you're into.
Wisconsin tip.
Yeah, I think it's like Wisconsin. If you just search that, it should pop up. I think there's a bunch of underscores in there or whatever.
Okay.
TIFF. She puts her money and and where her mouth is and where other things are.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly.
First thing you see is her. Okay.
But the dude she invites is like Joe next door, because we were talking about
Yeah.
like with Lily Phillips and the other girl that did 1,000 Guys. They're just inviting fans to come hook up, and that's the big trend in porn these days. Is if you follow me online, there's a good chance you'll be able to have sex with me in some kind of group fashion for free.
That's
Yeah.
like straight to consumer.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good
eliminate the middleman.
incentive.
Yeah.
I know, to start paying for their OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And by the way, the line to meet
And she's kind of cute. She has kind of like a.
She's cute-ish.
Yeah. She's got a Reese Witherspoon vibe to her.
That's funny.
yeah,
You're
some
going to
photos-
hate me for this. In
What?
the pictures I'm looking at, she has an Amy Schumer vibe.
Oh, don't say. Well, okay.
Yeah, in a few
Sorry.
photos, she's
well, here's the thing.
Amy
If
Schumer-like.
Tiff didn't live in Wisconsin, she probably would glow up a little bit. Because when you're around all that cheese, there's
Well, Wisconsin is the land of cheese and porn.
Right.
Like you leave Illinois. Like I was living in Chicago. We were driving to Green Bay for a game, and all you start hitting is porn stores and cheese shops.
yeah, cheese and beer.
That's pretty much it.
Can the
we-
general public go to the awards ceremony?
You can. In fact, I did. Now that's a ticketed event separate from the expo, and quite frankly, it's something because you can point out the guys that are there just for fun, like bachelor parties. You do it once. It honestly is kind of boring.
It's like New York in Times Square, you know.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
interesting
You've
to
been
say
there.
like, oh, I saw best anal or whatever.
But you have been, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, worst day at work. Who's this person here?
This is a lady named Ariana Starr with 2 R's.
Okay.
I had just gone out with drinks and dinner with my girlfriends, and I went to go do a collab, like a face collab. Jay Romero. Huge. Short kid, big.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
alright.
Short
Good for
kid,
him.
but a big one.
So are they going up to
Lucky.
the hotel rooms and shooting content? Is that what
she's
trying
talking
to
about
say?
a day in the past where she had gone out to had a big dinner, but then she's like, oh darn it, I'm scheduled for a face something
Yeah.
collaboration.
Some face work.
Oh.
with Jay Romero.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have had that giant meal because something's about
She's
to
about to have
happen.
another giant meal. Short guy, big one,
Yeah,
you know.
but back to the
Yeah.
the award show themselves. They have big names. Last year was not Ariana Grande, but
What?
what's her the
I mean, maybe eventually.
Australian girl. What's her face? The rapper Iggy Azalea.
Oh, okay.
This year it was Jason Derulo was the musical guest.
Wow.
They get
Wow.
decent
They
names
get paid
in
well,
there.
I bet.
Exactly. So again, check it out if you want to.
And then when they do the categories like best face blank, do they do little clips like?
So they got things a little riskier this year, Greg, because normally they don't show almost anything. This year I noticed they were showing boobs.
Oh.
And they were showing clips of the movie.
Well, that's where it starts.
Yeah.
It is the
what'd you
gateway.
say? Oh,
Right.
clips?
Yes.
Clips
Okay,
is
got it.
key.
So
They were
but
showing
they'll
clips.
They'll crop it
With
out.
a
So
P.
Well, it moved locations too.
you're back at the Virgin, formerly
Yeah.
the Hard Rock.
All
They've
right.
been going through some stuff. They need the money.
Yeah.
I wonder where they display their awards, like on the mantle.
Let's talk to another lady about her wild or bad day at work at the AVNs. This is Emma Rosie.
Okay.
One time I had a co-star. She's amazing, Coco Lovelock, and she was getting. She was feeling good. I was like rubbing her and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, it's starting to feel too good." She had to run to the bathroom to her so she didn't all over the camera.
Again, when you have that many bleeps, you don't know
Now.
what she's saying.
Yeah.
I can't
You'll
figure
never
it out.
figure it out.
Now just wait till the uncensored podcast.
Then it'll all make sense.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, it's like a Mad Lib. Just
One time I had a co-star. She's amazing, Coco Lovelock, and she was getting. She was feeling good.
Okay, I got that part. So
I was like rubbing her and stuff.
okay, I mean, I can figure that out.
And she was like, "Oh, it's starting to feel too good." She had to run to the bathroom to her so she didn't all over the camera.
Okay.
Save the camera.
I couldn't make out that part. Can you play it again?
Clearly a massage.
And would you believe that that's not Emma's only story of a wild day at work?
Wow. Okay. Well, when you are a porn star, you still have bad days at work. This
Yeah.
is hers. You know.
Oh, and another funny thing is one time I had like water balloons on me on a scene.
Why?
Because shout out Hookup Hotshot, they do water balloons.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out.
They don't get the respect they deserve.
All right. I mean, you know, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her name, Emma Rosie.
Yeah, all right, Emma Rose.
It's just however the tip of the is hitting me inside my little tummy.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
She's very small. She's like,
So cute.
Yeah.
She's like 4'11", and we'll get into how much she weighs, but she's there's a category of girls who you walk around, you're like, oh, she's 12, but no, she's not. She's legal.
Well, the little short petite girls, can we say what they're called?
What is that?
Spinners.
Yeah.
That's an old timey term.
Oh,
I'm a spinner.
Yeah, I remember talking about with the other kids on the playground.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I don't.
we're on
They
the
don't use,
teeter-totter.
they don't use that term these days.
I bet that girl grows up to be a spinner.
Yeah, so check out that Uncensored podcast. And Wisconsin Tiff, if you're in the greater
Oh my
Green
God,
Bay
yeah, you're
area,
right. I mean, her
and you want a good time.
her X account is.
it is.
I mean, the first thing that
raunchy.
comes up.
But you show, Greg, it's one of those things where you show up and you're not going to feel bad about your body because
really?
the other dude's there.
Did you
okay.
see that picture? I tried to point it out to you. Look at these. Look at this crew. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, all the girls are out.
What
They got all their cans out, right?
The two chicks squatting next to the pole with the dudes all around her.
Oh. Yeah. Well, look, they're having fun.
Wait.
And by the way,
this is so
because we talked about what she does, we glossed over the first thing she said, which is grandpa's. But again,
And I think in this case it would be glazed over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we
Check
glazed
out
over
that crew,
yeah.
Greg.
Okay,
But-
yeah. I'm
She
hot
takes care of the
compared to that.
elderly.
But the podcast today, you'll be able to hear. We go into much more with some of the other girls that Seabass talked to at the AVN Awards. Their worst day on the job. This is a not safe for work thing, completely uncensored. You know what it is, so don't act surprised when you get there. And that's what you find. But it'll all be on the podcast. Just go to thewoodyshow.com.
It's wild.
And you can find it wherever you get podcasts. Just look for us at The Woody Show.
The Woody Show. Back in a bit.